It's Christopher from Yellowstone Camera Store, Perfect Light Camera Store, and Photo Adventure Workshops. Hey, today is going to be a quick tip video, but I want to mention something. One of the biggest things we hear in our stores, and we have a real advantage over most people online doing these training videos. We get to see sometimes hundreds of people a day between our two stores, and then they come in, and the biggest struggle that we see is sharpness. We hear all the time that I'm just not getting sharp pictures. So what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to create a series of a few videos on how to consistently get sharp photos. So I tell people all the time, one of the things I really pride myself in is my consistency in my photography. Not just my skills of manual mode and metering and all those things, but to give you an example, so a couple weeks ago we went and shot a rodeo outside of West Yellowstone, Montana. And when we shot that, I shot a little over 4,300 pictures of this rodeo in completely mixed lighting. Some days, I mean, there was times where it was raining, it was cloudy, it was sunny, it was windy, all these things during this rodeo, right? And we're down in the arena shooting at ground level out in the dirt with bulls running by us, having to jump up on the fence and get out of the way, those kind of things, right? So here's what I want to tell you. Out of all those pictures, over 4,300 photos of fast action in mixed lighting, I found 13 out of focus. 13. And only 13 that weren't exposed correctly. So what does that mean? That I'm a great photographer? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is I'm making the camera do and utilizing what the camera has to make the photos really, really sharp, right? And have that consistency. So what we're going to do is I encourage you to all follow these series. There'll be 3 or 4 videos on how to shoot sharp pictures. But one of them I'm going to mention 2 things. In fact, let's just start with 2 simple things when we're dealing with big lenses. Now, this is a 100 to 400, but even if it was a 500 or 600 millimeter f4, I can consistently hand hold these lenses now for a few different reasons. So here's one of the first things I'm going to show you that has become a big fad. And one of the things I mention in my classes and I mention in my store all the time is the last thing I do is chase all these fads that are happening, right? So one of the things you need to know is I don't use eye tracking. I don't use motion tracking. I don't use any of those newfangled autofocus systems. What I use is single point focus, okay? And we'll talk about that in the upcoming videos, but here's the big thing I want you to understand about big lenses. We see some real fads going on that drive me personally crazy. Here's one of them. Often, in fact, more often than not now, we see people in the park and everywhere else with their lens foot up like this. So they're shooting like this. Please, I'm begging you not to do that. It is the dumbest thing I've seen come out in a long time about hand holding big lenses. I want to explain to you why. When you're holding like this, you guys, look where my hand is. It is not only on the zoom ring, because a lot of people go, it's easier to zoom in and out. Here's the problem with this, you guys. As you're shooting, the slightest bump to this focusing ring, or if you're using one of these new ring system lenses on like Canon, Sony, and Nikon, that have an adjustment ring here for, you can set this to be your ISO, aperture, shutter speed, all kinds of things, right? You're going to consistently bump that slightly. Here's the other thing. How many of you have ever shot a bow before? So I used to be an archery hunter and an archery hunting guide. One of the biggest things we told people all the time when we were training them is never grip the bow. Well, guess what you're doing? You are going to shake more this way. There is no question of it. I have tested this extensively on all sizes lenses. So here's what you need to do. Drop your lens foot this way. Always keep it down. Everybody says, well, it's easier to carry it. What's different? Carrying it like this and going like this, or having it up here and having to flip the whole camera upside down. Okay, did you see that? So if I carry my lens like this, I can flip it up and immediately shoot, right? Now look what I'm doing. See how I'm gripping this? Don't do that. What I want you to do is when you lift the camera up, cradle it. You should be able to hold the lens like this, and you should be able to cradle it and use your viewfinder. So many people now with these mirrorlesses are going like this, and you see them advertise that. Please don't do that. Always just cradle it. Do not grip it. Hold it up and brace it like this. You guys, if you do that one little thing there alone with big lenses, you will consistently get sharper pictures and more consistently get those sharper pictures than you ever have before. So give it a try. I think you guys are going to be really impressed. See ya. Bye-bye.